Hi there, Year 3. We're going to be doing a little bit of science now. We've done lots of interesting science so far in Year 3, and recently we've been looking at light and shadow. In fact, last week on the blog we asked you to go home and try and find as many sources of light as possible. And a source of light, or a light source, is something that produces its own light. So for example, it could be a TV, it could be a candle, even a microwave produces its own light. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a little bit of work based on that, and also involving shadows. And what we're going to be investigating is how a light source and the distance between a light source and an object affects a shadow. Now, a shadow is a dark shape, isn't it? And that's made when there's an object or an item that blocks the source of light. So if I were to shine this torch this way, the object here, which is some bubble magic, would block the light source and we'd have a shadow coming across here. Okay? But what I want to know is what happens when we change the distance of the light source to the object. What happens if we go closer? We go maybe medium distance, or maybe we go a little bit further away. How is that going to change the shape, the size of the shadow? Now, you could just sort of say, well, this is what happens when the light source is quite close, and this is what happens when it's a little bit further away. But we're Year 3, so maybe we can be a little bit more precise. And what I think would be a nice idea is if we start actually measuring the distance between the light source and the object. And because it's your investigation, it's kind of up to you. You can choose the distance between the light source and your chosen object. So for example, I've got my trusty ruler here, so I'm extra accurate. And I might just line it up, and I might, for example, see what happens at 5 centimetres. And then I might see what happens at 10 centimetres, or 15 centimetres, or 20 centimetres. So, this is the worksheet that you're going to be using. And if you look at the top of this column here, it says distance between the light source and the object. So you would choose whatever distance you think suitable. So I might have chosen 5 centimetres, 10 centimetres, 15, 20 and 25 centimetres. You might choose different numbers. You might go up in 10s, you might go up in 7s. It's your investigation, so you can decide the distance. So once I've chosen my distances and I've written down here, on the other side it says size of the object's shadow. So what you would do is once you've got your distance at say 5 centimetres, you would try and measure the size of the object's shadow. And I'll show you how you could do that. So if you're at home and you've got someone in your family or a sibling who might want to help, you could do it a little bit as a team, couldn't you? One of you could hold it here at 5 centimetres, hold it steady, and another member of your family could measure the shadow with a ruler. But you might want to do it on your own, that's fine. You might like working independently. So in that case, what I would suggest is maybe you actually put it steady on the table. And then you could take your ruler and measure the shadow along here. Okay? You might not even have a torch like this at home, and that's absolutely fine. A lot of phones these days have got torches on, so you could use that as well. Okay? So then I've got my 5 centimetres, I've written it down. I change it to 10 centimetres, and then I would measure the size of the shadow again. And I'm going to see how the size of the shadow changes when I move my light source, in this case the torch, further away from the object. And like I said earlier, this is just a lovely bottle of bubble magic. You can choose anything you want. Again, it's your investigation, so you can decide on that as well. And once you've completed your table, you can have a think. What patterns do you notice? What conclusions can you make? And if you even enjoyed it a lot, you might even choose to do a second object or a third object. So that's what we're going to try and do today, to see how the distance between our light source and the object affects the size of the shadow. So I hope you have fun with that, and I can't wait to hear about how you've got on with it. Okay? Have fun. Bye, Year 3.